Kelly, I need you to sign up, but you have to watch me sign with the orange sticker.
Okay.
David, this time. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Thank you all for coming. We begin our meetings every time with public comments, so I am going to start with Mr. Dylan Henson.
Actually, my fiance, yeah, was with me as well.
Are you both speaking or just one of you?
Just me.
Oh, okay. We have a 3-minute time limit, so do your best to stay within that. David's going to keep time for us.
Okay, awesome.
Go right ahead.
Well, good evening, board. My name is Dylan Windsor. Currently reside at 3209 West Trail. We moved in November 2023. We're waiting from Kelly Masters, secretary here. We had an incident on January 14th where we arrived home after a weekend away from town, and our main water line was frozen. That was the first weekend we got cold. So I called the service line for Infomark at about 8 p.m. and requested some assistance. They said they could send someone out, but it would probably take a little bit. I then notified Kelly, who suggested to me that I maybe try like a hair dryer or a heat gun on the water main, see if I could unfreeze it, since it probably hadn't been frozen very long. So I did just that. I spent about the next hour trying to unfreeze the line and managed to succeed, and we got our water returned, and then I was able to wrap the pipe, insulate it for the night, and we were able to get it properly insulated the next day and take care of it. What I'm here today for is to ask for an exception to the after-hours fee for that, because the technician didn't arrive to our property until about 9:35 when I had fixed the problem by 9:15. So they were only there for a couple minutes. I just spoke to them and sort of explained what had happened and what I'd done to fix it, and then they went on their way and left the property. And I do have a copy of the water bill with me. That fee was $194.09.
Is that what the charge was for that call-out service?
Yeah, it's a non-routine fee.
What, 194 what?
$194.09.
And after you fixed the problem, can I ask, did you call Infomark and cancel the service request?
I hadn't. It had only been about
Just a few minutes.
10-15 minutes, and I was trying to thaw myself from being outside for a while. So.
Okay. We will take your appeal request under advisement, and somebody will get back with you and notify you of the decision of the board. Okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. And your fiance does not want to speak? All right. We're going to go ahead and move on to agenda item 2, and this is the interview for the district operator. Let me begin by thanking both companies for submitting a proposal for the operator responsibility for this MUD district. Our district is completely built out and relatively small, but with an infrastructure that's approaching 40 years old. Our operator must be vigilant in both water conservation and water accountability. Those items are key to identifying failures in the infrastructure and provide the knowledge necessary to prioritize projects. Addressing those items are paramount to a water system that will stand the test of time and be a reliable source for clean water, a sanitary sewer, and a stormwater collection system that works every time it rains. We rely on our operator to handle that business. We envision hiring our own employees, a facilities manager and an administrative support person, to complement the services of the company that will be our operator. These employees will manage the day-to-day operations of the district and take care of the spaces we all enjoy, such as our common areas, green spaces, parks, and trails. It will require a collaborative effort between the district employees and the operator to achieve our desired outcome, which is an efficiently run district. Previous boards have tried various support models over the years with one common goal: to provide the best possible first-line support for our residents. We're going to try something different to see if we can improve that level of service while reducing the operating costs of the district. The board is committed to the success of this district and has put an enormous amount of effort into seeing that it operates more efficiently. We are actively involved in overseeing the MUD's business and have come to realize that the way it's always been done is no longer working. It is for that reason that we went seeking proposals for operators. So, now that everybody has an understanding of what we're doing, let's begin with the interviews. And we're going to do Infomark first. And who's going to speak for Infomark? That's you in the hot seat. Okay.
You want me to sit here?
Please. We do have a fifth member of the board. Her name is Beth Jones. She's not with us this evening, so she's not going to be able to ask any questions.
Would you all like MOC to step out during this time, or?
Well, actually, I don't think that's really necessary because they both submitted different proposals. And so unless anybody else feels differently, my questions are geared to what was missing in proposals, asking those questions. So I don't think, and we live stream our meeting so you can see it anyway.
Okay.
We do operate completely transparently, so there's no secrets here. And we all know Mackenzie Scales. She's been our account manager for quite some time. And Infomark has been with this district, by my calculations, for 35 years. So there's not a whole lot to ask of her because we already know how Infomark works with the district. But we're going to do it fairly. So, Hanoi, do you have any questions for Mackenzie?
I do not.
You do not. Kelly, do you have any questions?
I have a few. Good evening. Good evening. All right. So this is obviously a new thing for this district where we're proposing hiring our own employees. So I was wondering, how many districts do you work with that have their own employees that you work with?
None that are directly employed by boards. There are districts that I work with that have temporary staff, where the district hires a temporary agency to staff some of the needs for the district.
Okay. And assuming that your proposal is accepted, Infomark's is, and the district hires a facility manager and an office admin, is Infomark willing to work with them?
Absolutely.
Willing to train them, get them up to speed?
We would be willing to work with them and train them to the extent of things within the district as far as the duties that are going to be transferring from the current administrative duties and some of the parks duties. As far as training someone on operational duties, we would show them the facilities, but we would not train them on how to operate them if there was any sort of gray area there.
Okay. How many supervisors are above you in Infomark?
2 are here tonight. Elizabeth Reeves in the back row in the middle, and then Todd Burr directly next to her. And then above Todd is a board of, what do you call them, investors?
Well, it's the board of directors, and my boss is the CEO of the company.
Okay, thank you. Do you have the ability, and we talked about this at one time, and I think you said it was forthcoming, but do you have the ability to mass text the residents?
It is forthcoming in our current billing system. We do not, but it is a capability we are gearing for in the next billing system. And we're
Okay.
actively vetting that process right now.
Okay, do you have a time frame on that?
I don't know. Is there about a year?
We're probably about a year out.
Okay, and although this may be getting ahead of myself, do you anticipate there being extra charges for that, or would that be part of the base fee?
It depends on how your contract would be drafted, but it can be an option of pass-through services without markup is typically what it'll be. So it would be at cost if there were any charges.
Okay. And my last question is, how do you handle disagreements with board members over issues like billing or customer relations?
Can you be more specific? As in the board member being the one?
Or the board as a whole, when the board, identifies that there's been a billing error or an issue hasn't been handled the way the board would have preferred. What is the just your standard operating practice in addressing that?
One, we would default to the rate order as best as we can, and then 2, we would do whatever the board asked us to do for if it was. It's hard to determine, is this for a resident or is this for just overall billing concern or issue? Because if it was for a resident, I think we would just default to you all, similar to the appeal process of hearing people out, and we would bring it to you to let you decide. We would try not to make those decisions.
Okay, and then that would be for a resident, and then what if, like, say on the monthly invoices, and, you know, something was identified and there was a disagreement, you know, is this covered in the base fee, or, you know, why was this person called, or why were 3 people called, what is the standard way to respond?
We would always look at it with the best fine tooth comb we could and try to determine if that was a base fee item. And the best way to describe base fees is routine. If it's a routine item and it's covered under your base, it's always going to be base. But if it's something outside of that, it's going to be T&M. And then if it were a question of who got sent and why, it would all just depend on the work and how it was handled. We would look at the work orders, we would converse with you all and determine was it a justifiable charge or not. But we're always willing to work with the board to make those determinations if there was a disagreement.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
David, do you have any questions? Sure, you know I have a few. I always have questions. I trust you would, if Infomark was selected as the contractor, you would remain our account manager?
Yes, ma'am.
How many water districts are you responsible for personally?
7.
And are you able to manage 7 districts successfully?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We have 2 other account managers in Austin that handle their own districts that are under me.
Could you
I
elaborate?
don't understand that.
So I'm the senior account manager for all of Austin.
Okay.
I have my own districts that I come to, similar to yours, but they have their own that they go to. I am their oversight if they have questions or need any assistance, but they ultimately report to their boards. I do not.
So in addition to 7 districts, you also then are supervising other employees?
2 employees.
2 other employees.
And how many districts do they have combined?
Collectively in Austin, we have 17.
Okay, so you have 7 and they have 10?
They split, I think we have 6 and 4.
Okay.
The board, as you know, is actively involved in the operations of the district and will require access to information in order to make informed decisions. Are you able to deliver data-driven reports in a timely manner? And does your proposal include additional charges for providing said reports?
Yes, it does. Our proposal response included the special report line item as a T&M item, and we are able to provide reports. in a timely fashion.
Would looking at, say, account deposit balances or account histories or work orders for a specific asset, would that be a special report?
Yes, as far as the billing side of it goes, the majority of that is not going to be billed for. If it's having someone pull a history ledger, similar to what we have done in the past, I don't foresee that being a charge. However, pulling mass quantity reports of work orders would then be a special charge.
Okay. So is there any way that the district's information could be placed on a shared drive so we could access it ourselves?
No, ma'am.
No.
Not within the systems we currently operate with.
As the district moves forward to electronic meters, will the monthly charge for meter reading go down proportionately with each meter that comes online?
Historically, we have not. However, I'm sure it's something we can look into at that time. We do have districts that are fully converted in Austin already for all intents and purposes as far as understanding that process. I believe we have recently begun looking at rates specifically for districts with AMR meters. I don't know what your rate would be at the time that your district was fully converted. It might then be around the same connection count amount you have in your current proposal. So it just depends on how soon the district intends to convert as far as how much that fee would go down.
And when you built the proposal and added the cost for reading all of our meters, because that's how it's done now, is that the current rate Infomart charges for a new district on reading a meter?
Yes, for $6 per connection.
So there was no consideration given to being a 35-year customer with Infomart on
Yes.
that billing?
There was. We have to go with our current rates. We haven't gone up on your connection count rate as far as an amendment to increase other than CPIs. I don't know the last time we've asked for a price increase on anything other than a CPI, which covers the standard cost of living increases. And something we also have not done for your district is charged a full fuel surcharge. So we've also not implemented your current CPI. So we do feel like $6 per connection is fair. It's also pretty low in the market.
Does the district have the opportunity to pay for subcontractor invoices directly to mitigate paying that 15% markup on a subcontracted service?
Typically, we do sludge maintenance, landscape maintenance, and those two would be considered district direct, but anything outside of that would be a 15% markup.
Do you have a cap on your markup fees?
We do not.
Your proposal did not include a labor and supervision salary costs, which is defined as the hourly rate and benefit cost times 2. We didn't have that in your last contract either. I looked to see if maybe that was something that was going to cross over. So without that information, it would be hard for us to determine the cost of services for level 1 tech. I don't know how you rate them, level 2 or level 3. So was that intentional? I mean,
It varies by employee, so it depends on that employee's hourly rate. But I'm sure we can, during contract negotiations, if you would like standard set rates, it's something we can look into. It's just not something we standard provide. However, vehicles and equipment do have their own rates.
right, and that was there.
Mhm.
I wasn't sure if it was accidentally missing or if that just wasn't something you provide.
It's just not, it's typically not, but it's not something we're not willing to not provide.
The schedule of standard rates includes landscape services. We have a separate contract for landscaping services that we pay directly to the contractor. Is your schedule suggesting that Infomark will mark up our monthly landscaping invoice?
No, that is in the event that the district had Infomark pay for any outside landscaping services would be considered a third party to your current district hired landscaper.
That's all the questions I have for you, David. Hanoi, anything pop up that you want to ask? No? Thank you very much. We're ready for whoever's speaking for MOC. Or both. You're both welcome. Come to the table. We'll even put another chair there. We do. It's in our board packet.
I'll take one more. Kind of.
Yes, absolutely.
I can get a copy of it. Can I have a copy of it?
Anybody else?
I'll take one.
Some people like paper.
I'm a big fan
I
of
still do too.
Yeah, he does too.
you. Thank you so much.
We have not met. My name's Linda Fogg, and you are?
I'm Beth Wright.
And I'm Lonnie Wright. We're the owners of Municipal Operations Consultants. Thank you all for inviting us to.
Well, we're happy that you submitted. This is Hanoi Avila, Kelly Masters, and David Flores. And like I said, we do have a fifth board member. She's just absent. So let's do the same with you. David, do you have any questions for them?
Not at this present.
Hanoi?
Not at the moment.
Kelly?
Yes, I do. Thank you for coming tonight. It's nice to meet you both. I was very interested in your proposal, and I specifically read in there that Lonnie is the board rep for districts for the first 12 months. Was I reading that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. And so after that first 12 months, do you have someone earmarked for that, or how would we be assigned a board rep?
Sometimes it's still me. That's
Okay.
just the way it works out. And just so you know, our Austin office is, a little bit new to us. We've got 3 clients very near here. We have, over 100 clients in the state of Texas. So, but this is an office that, Beth and I are personally taking care of and really got our hands on, literally. And so, yeah, you'll get to deal with Beth and I at this level. So, and we're very hands-on people, and we know what's going on for the most part.
So what he's basically saying is he won't let it go. I'll translate for you.
Okay, all right, wonderful, thank you. And so I guess my follow-up question is moot because I was also going to ask how many supervisors would be in between our new board rep and you, and the answer is 0, it's one and the same.
Me and her.
Okay, all right. I saw that you have an after-hours answering service that handles calls, of course, after the call center closes. Is that US-based or is that overseas?
Oh, it's U.S.
Okay.
And we also maintain more hours, like even during the week. If there's anything going on, like if we're transitioning a new district, we'll extend our office hours from 5 till 10 o'clock with live staff at our office, just to answer, sometimes you get inundated with phone calls and transferring accounts over and people have questions. And then we'll also operate on Saturdays from, 8 to noon, just to have that window. Some people can't transact business,
Sure.
Because of work. They have nice bosses that don't do that. So we do make that available. The other, it's just part of our emergency management plan. During any kind of a natural disaster or anything, we do not use answering service. We staff our phones 24/7 until, through duration.
Okay, and is that physically located in Houston?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Since you've been in business for over 20 years, I assume you must have had some disagreements with board members or a board as a whole over, resident relations or billing inquiries, and so what is your standard operating procedure for handling those?
Well, I guess anytime you have relationships, you're going to have issues. But I also put in our proposal, we've never been asked to leave a client. So, we're proud of that, and not to the point where we have our chest all stuck out over, because things change quickly in our industry. But it does make us very aware that, how important our customers are and trying to take care of it. To me, I'm successful in a board meeting if the public's not here, because usually if the public is here, it's because of an operational issue. It's very rarely because they're mad at the attorney or the engineer. It's something, on our side of the tab. And so, we take a lot of pride in trying to get through issues, and work things out. And, we also learn what our board's preferences are. I have boards that, no break, there's no break. You don't get a concession if you have a leak. You don't get, and there's other boards that are very, hey, we want to work with people. And we have to learn who you are, how you want us to respond to your community. And we just haven't had anything with board members that we couldn't get past and work through. I feel like I've been doing this long enough. I feel like if we can sit down and visit about it, we can come to a good resolution. And I think probably communication is the best way to do it.
Okay, thank you. I did note in your proposal that you do currently have the capability to blast text residents or SMS, and that's at a cost, if I read it right, of 15 cents each, which if I multiply it by the number of our connections, would work out to about $285 per text. Am I reading that right? Does that sound right?
And the unique thing about that service that we have is you can say, Connie, we want to do every other address on this street only. We can be very selective and really identify a section, or if there's a street that's going to have a water outage and we want to blast those folks only and say, here's what's going on. We can do it in minutes, literally minutes. I can't, but there's people who
Okay.
You can, they work from home.
All right. Yeah, one thing we've been discussing as a board is just better communication with our residents, especially, in times like the ice storm, and getting messages out. And so, is that negotiable at all if we needed to get out, multiple texts to the residents in an emergency
Well,
situation?
and so, the reason we didn't include that in the base fee, because we had this discussion, was, you guys may say, hey, we want to blast weekly and tell everybody, about whatever's going on, or
Yeah.
talk about the eclipse, or whatever was coming up. We didn't know, so it's hard for us to put that in a base fee, and if I have to guess, I'm going to guess in my favor, okay? And so, that's a fairly hard cost, but, we can, and the shorter the message, the better, so.
That's good to know, and it sounds like it's something that's best used judiciously. It's not like a newsletter.
Well, you want people to, when it happens, you want them to read it.
Right. Okay. That's all my questions. Thank you both so much.
I just had one thing to add to that.
Okay.
Like, we use it a lot in our other district here in Austin. And sometimes it's just literally, we'll send out a link, like if there's a link on your website that you're
Okay.
wanting them to get information to or something, when you're talking about keeping it short, we can do things like that also.
Does it cost less if it's short? Or?
It doesn't cost less.
Okay.
You can go longer on an email than you can a text. And so if you're wanting a link, it's usually easier to do it on a text.
Sure.
But if it gets too wordy, then there are other, it does get more costly, right,
On the text, not an email.
Okay.
So usually we do the longer ones on emails.
Okay. Thank you for the information.
Sure.
I have a question. So we have had some discussion at board level of hiring an administrator for the district, somebody that will be looking out, for the interest of the district, but it's going to be hired by and it's going to be answering to the board. Do you currently have a district that has that similar model? And what are the pros and cons of having a district administrator, and how do you foresee working with a district administrator?
Well, we have 4 districts that currently have their own staff. And so we don't have any issues working with them. And some of them choose to do all of their billing, under their roof. Some of them choose to have us go read the meters and give them the reads, and then they process them. So it can be a lot of different, methods, just whichever one works best for you. But we have no problem, because what it is, they become the liaison between the board and us. And so, that's usually been a good situation for us. And these folks felt like one of our clients has about 7,500 connections, and they felt like they needed it. They had their own office before they hired us, and so they just kept it that way. So we know how that works, and we don't have any issues working with general managers or district staff or whatever.
Well, kind of to follow up on that, because I was thinking kind of the same thing, because it's going to be a new approach for this district as well to hire its own staff. And we're hoping to do that so that our customers get the service that we have promised them. Would you have any objections to our administrative person doing those blast messages or sending the text messages? Of course, you would have to provide for us the phone numbers and the email addresses, but we could actually use our own employee to send those messages and defer the cost.
Well, because it's all our software with your customer information, it would sort of, it would just be easier for us to do that, because, your customer's information, we guard that pretty closely. We have to, and I'm assuming y'all have a lot of rules in place that, force us to do that, so. I think there may be some areas, there will be some areas that you can achieve some savings on. I'm not sure if that's one of them, just because it's such an in-house thing for us. This is so easy. Literally, they do it from their phone. I mean, they literally send those out from their phone.
Again, it's not like we do them very often. It's a question to ask because our administrative staff and our, for lack of a better term, we've just called it a facility manager. Who knows what it'll be called? Those people, of course, will be the face to the customer. They'll be the ones to take that first call. If it's billing, I understand they would shoot that over to your company because, do I understand correctly, you do the billing yourself?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
You in-house? You have enough staff for that?
Yes.
We do.
Okay, good to know. So they wouldn't be able to answer billing questions. Of course, they would have to route those calls to you, but all the other stuff that comes up. Yes, we do actually protect our customers' information to the limits of the law. But people who work for this district and the members of the board have access to all information. So there might be a need for an email address to notify a customer we're going to, do whatever we're going to do. I don't know.
Sure. And
Pulling a sign out of your yard or whatever we're doing. You wouldn't have any objection to giving us that information. Okay. You're right. There isn't enough to save at $200 and some a text blast. So let me get to my questions. So I know that you're going to be like front people for the first 12 months and maybe forever thereafter, but there was a gentleman in your proposal that was named John Roberts?
John Taylor?
John Taylor, that's it. Would he, if you get everything, I understand a transition process would take some time, but if everything was in order, would he be the one that was our account manager?
so we just like to have someone, backing us up. And John Taylor is part of our executive staff. And he and I spend a lot of time communicating. He's here in Austin quite a bit. We communicate quite a bit. So he's, the person, that helps us coordinate getting the right person in the right place. We tell him what we need out here. So
Does he live in this Austin area, somewhere in Austin?
He doesn't.
He's in Houston,
He's
that
in
area?
Houston.
How many people do you have in the Austin area?
in the entire real country, I would say probably 10 of us now.
I was going to say 12 because of the new guys.
There's probably about 12 right now.
And that's in all aspects of the business, right?
Yes.
You're talking about technicians and just all in general. How many of the John Taylors, are in this area? Is there any that?
We probably have our compliance officer. He actually lives in Llano. He's back and forth between here and Houston. So he's been with us for
23 years.
3 years.
So it's more out of those, you said 12, was it? So they're mostly operator, technician, meter readers, and I'm guessing construction.
Yes,
all that.
construction
Yeah.
guys.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay. As you heard me talk to Mackenzie about the board's involvement in the day-to-day operations of this district, which to our understanding, or at least up until recently, I thought that was really unusual, but I'm learning it isn't unusual at all. We will require access to information, and if you're holding our information, it becomes problematic if we can't get it timely in order to be prepared for these meetings. So are you able to deliver data-driven reports in a timely manner And does your proposal include additional charges for providing said reports?
Yes, it's part of the base fee. I can't imagine any report you would need that we wouldn't have our fingertips.
We don't ask for things that you don't have because we only know about things that you have. So that kind of a
I
scenario.
think the only exception we would say to that, if there was a lot of transition things that we would have to go find or something we wouldn't have that might, inhibit us from getting it to you quickly, but we would get it to you as quickly as we could.
History data.
Yeah,
History
if
data.
If you're asking us for customers' consumption for the last year, and we only got 2 months of transition, then it's going to take us a while.
Right, that makes sense. And your proposal as well had a charge for reading a meter. So as the district moves to electronic meters, will the monthly charge for meter reading go down proportionately with each meter that comes online?
Yes, it does.
Do you have any districts where you read the meters meters are read electronically?
Yes, we do.
Numerous.
Yeah.
I don't know how many, probably.
And you have access to the data on that meter
Yes.
We
remotely?
do on Eye on Water.
Yeah. Do you know what kind of meters they're using? Just, that's a curiosity question.
Badger.
90% or Badger.
Badger. That's what we have as well.
Most of our clients can't get them.
They're in short supply. In your proposal, and it was one of the criteria that I had listed, administer a district survey monthly. What did you have in mind? What kind of survey?
So, sometimes you just need to do a windshield survey driving around. If you see water running down the curb, you see something going on, things that need to be done in the district, things that, a lot of times it doesn't need to be the guy that works out here because you sort of get blind to the daily stuff. And it's just getting a set of eyes, a fresh set of eyes to look things over, see if people are listening.
And that could also be the lights out in the district. It could be your parks. It could be a number of things that we survey.
So, okay, you have made that more clear for me, what you're surveying. I was thinking do you like the parks with this balloon?
Oh, you're talking about that.
balloon? I was thinking it was that kind of survey, so I'm glad to know, that's why I'm glad I asked, because you're looking for operational things.
Okay, you said you can do those. Do you do them often, and if so, how?
So we just finished a park survey with one of our clients here in Austin. They surveyed the district and want to know what type of pocket park they would want, what type of amenities they would want on it. So we sent the survey out and brought all the results in and tallied everything up and gave the board the results.
Electronically?
Yes.
Wonderful.
And again, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't our system pick the homes years apart, or did they do everything?
They did everyone. We were talking about doing that, but then they wanted both sides to weigh in.
And is that part of the base fee?
That was something that kind of just, they asked us to do.
Can you
so we
look
did.
and
I
see?
think we just charged the clerical time that it took us to do it.
To see if it was in the basement. I don't know. So I did have a question about, do you subcontract out the water billing, but you've already answered that, you do it in-house.
We do.
And we also take all of our payments in-house as well. There's no lot box or anything like that. So, and the advantage of that is if it's turn-off day, we don't want our payments going to another state. We want to know that day if someone made a payment, so we don't go to work.
That is everything I had for you.
Yeah, I have
Anybody?
another question. So as Linda presented at the beginning, we are an aging infrastructure. We have had some issues with lift station. I really appreciate what you've integrated in there. Tell me a little bit about, you know, if you were to come in, what are some of the things, not the things, but in your experience, would taking on a district like this be a complicated task? And if you have had similar experience on taking on district with similar issues that we currently are currently having?
No, that's a great question. So the first thing we do when we come in is we want to go see all of your, and I've been to all your locations, go around and look at each one of them. We want to come in and we want to evaluate everything, and this is on our nickel, not y'all's. And I don't want Jacob to tell me anything. I don't want to be skewed by anybody's thoughts. I want to just go in there and what do I see, you know, based on my experience, and I'll have some staff with me as well, and we just want to give you an evaluation of what we see. And you may have fixes in place that, you know, nothing matters what we tell you, but we just want to tell you what we see. This is what we see in your system, what you might want to look at, what's good, what's bad, and you know, we like to try to get them in board's hands, you know, no later than 60 days after we take over. And it'll be it'll look very similar to this, be bound, and we'll even have recommendations on there as to what we're seeing. And there may be things that Jacob's already taken care of or whatever. But so that's the operations side of it. As far as the billing side of it, you know, transitioning customers, we've done a lot over the years. We haven't always done it right. You will get the benefit from when we haven't done it right, because I do think we do it pretty well these days. We literally will go to every single home and hand them a door tag that announces us. So it's a magnet they can put on the refrigerator. It says, look, your board has made a decision, and we're the operations company. If you have an issue, please call us. You know, you don't want your customers not to have a number to call if something happens. So I think we do that pretty well. And, you know, Beth has worked with the office staff on getting new customers acclimated, getting, you know, the customer service reps, you know, versed on the new plan, what the needs might be, or any issues going on. You know, just really the first closeout you do. The first time we read meters and put them in our system, that's a very, that's a strenuous process, because it's got to be right. And Beth and her team put these things together to take care of that. So, you know, it's not our first rodeo, and I'm not going to tell you there won't be some hangnails out there, but when the hangnails do happen, we know what to do. We know how to take care of them.
So I want to add one thing to that, if you don't mind. So when we come into a new district, we have, like right now, we have 5 ladies in the Cypress office that they take care of Austin, the Austin calls, so they know the districts inside and out. And so when we take on a new district with Austin, as I'm learning everything about the district, I do the training with them. We even bring them out so they see your district, they know your district. So when they're talking to the customers, they have familiarity with it.
Anybody have anything else?
I have a question. I don't know if it has a lot to do with water, but do you contribute anything to any type of charity work yourselves as owners of this company? Is that something that you take on?
Have you been on our website at all?
I glanced at it, but I didn't really dive deep into it. I saw your shirt, so I'm just...
We're very passionate about a couple of things.
So we've been a part of drilling wells all over the world, literally. Beth and I have been on, I don't know how many continents we've been on, but I think our teams have put in about 23 wells so far. And it's just week-long trips. We were doing it with Living Water out of Houston, and I don't know if they've never gotten the flags back under them since COVID. So we're still working in Guatemala with trip scheduled in May. So they're just week-long trips that our staff goes. It's a real bonding time, and we get to, do that. We send a big crew, or we go with a crew and walk in the Susan Komen Cancer Walk once a year. And I had a very close friend that was lost to that, and so 60 miles. If anybody wants to come do it with us, you're welcome. So yeah, there was a time to get back, and we do try to do that.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Christmas, we also try to find families in need too, and our company comes together and donates for that also.
That's it. Thank you.
I have another question. Your experience on either working with need enforcement contractors or in general experience that you want to, this district is a complex thing. And so I just want to see your experience on that overall. I mean, nothing specific, but how would you coming in?
Well, so we've really kind of gotten our feet wet in two of our other Austin clients. They have a lot of restrictions that have to be dealt with. Just give us the playbook, that's all we need.
How does the operator, what's the operator's role in that?
So it's complicated because they have a lot of areas that they use to broadcast wastewater that's been treated, and so there's a lot of natural areas that get a lot of irrigation, and so they have rules what customers can and can't do behind their homes. The rules for putting a swimming pool, you've got to put up a huge deposit. The engineer has to go in and approve, your plans, and then we have to come in and inspect at intervals. So it's, you can't, drive a truck in behind your home where these reclaimed water areas are, and they corrupt, and it's a very.
So it sounds like a lot of it is connected to the water conservation and protection of the watershed.
Yes.
And the operator, you asked how the operator handles it. He'll take pictures, and then we bring it to the board meeting, and then they decide there if they're going to fine or reduce the fine, hear from the customers.
Were you looking for a silver bullet? We're just looking for somebody who's got it figured out and how they do it and what works, and we know what doesn't work. Now we're looking for what works. So. All right, if that's all the questions, then I'm going to say we are done with agenda item 2. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Could we give you our cards?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Certainly, yes.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
And
Well, thank you for having us here. Thank you.
Thank you.
will you have your very own too? Yeah, there's this number.
All my numbers. Linda, I have one comment. I just want to make sure, because there's been discussion about a facility manager and administrative employee, I just want to make sure that both Infomark and MOC are aware of kind of what those positions would be. And I mean, I know it was pretty well documented in the RFP, but I just want to make sure that each group knows kind of exactly what those two potential positions, what their jobs would entail, and how that would work with, Infomark and or MOC. I mean, I just wanted to make sure, since we have everybody in the room, if there are any additional questions about that, this would be the time to ask.
Yes.
So,
If you have any questions about how we envision the district in the future, please, this is the time to ask.
okay. All right.
Nothing? Okay. So, we're going to move on to agenda item 3. And that item A is to discuss and consider the publication of the job vacancy for the facility manager and the administrative employee and take necessary action. So we have talked about this several times. We have a good idea of what we're wanting or hoping to have in a dedicated district employees, ones that answer directly to the board, where we have some sort of say into their performance, the hours that they work, that kind of thing. Again, the goal of every previous board before this one was to provide that superior customer service for the people who live in the district. And that is for things that go beyond their billing. It's if they want to reserve a park or they have a question about something else about the district, that there be somebody here in the building to take that question and provide an answer. I have started working on job vacancy notices for both of those positions, and it would be now a timing thing. So I would like to propose that I will bring to the meeting in 2 weeks vacancy notices for both of those positions. I'm taking suggestions and ideas from anybody who has them. And then at our next meeting, we release and publish those vacancy notices and hire those 2 employees immediately, May at the latest, and then bring them on board and start the transitioning of the support staff that way. At least get familiar with the district. There needs to be some overlap, I believe, so nothing falls through. But if anybody else wants to write those vacancy notices, I'm perfectly okay with that too. Or if you'd like, I can send it to you. That would work too. But that's what that agenda item was.
Do you have them already? Or?
I have a almost complete facility manager position drafted. It's just a draft. I haven't started on the administrative one. It'd be relatively quick.
Can you upload that to the drive?
I can. You can look at it there. Certainly early so that you'll have an opportunity to see it. Which, that brings me to, I'm going to back up just a bit. I did take the results of the proposals from both companies and put them on one spreadsheet. Did everybody have an opportunity to look at that? Okay, so I just literally copied the work that was given into one spreadsheet so it could be sorted.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was very helpful.
Okay. All right. So then at the next meeting on the 17th, I will bring the 2 job vacancy notices. I'll put them in the board packet early so you'll have a chance to look at them, and then we can make any updates or changes, and then with board approval we can publish them and try to hire those positions relatively quickly.
Yeah, I would, if you wouldn't mind sending me those the publications that you want to publish, that way at least we can get started. You're going to need contracts with these. I mean, one, we're going to have to decide, are they meant to be district employees? If so, we have to get them on district insurance, which is going to be some process that will increase your insurance rates. We're going to need to have pretty tough contracts for these employees. So that's something that the more time our office has in terms of drafting them, and I'll work with one of our employment lawyers to ensure that we get something papered together, the more time the better.
Okay.
For that. And also when we're dealing with salaries and everything, I mean, I think remind me, but your fiscal year ends December 31?
September.
September 30th. So, okay, so October 1. So, I mean, yes, we could probably hire someone before then, but should it wait to go to October 1 when that fiscal year flips and you all can rebudget and everything? That it also isn't a horrible idea. I know that's not what you want to hear from me, but that's not just my plea for more time on the legal side, but we'll work on it and, give us at least 30 days. We do want to rope in your insurance, get some contracts drafted. You all will probably want to take a look at the contracts and then, you'll go through the whole interview process with these potential employees. So, yeah, thanks.
Easily done. Anybody have anything else about that, the next step in the district employees? Nothing? Dave? Nothing? Moving on to 3B, discuss the appeal request from the resident at 2306 Portwood Bend Cove. I put in the board packet, to the best that I can tell, what happened with this account. This property fell victim to the bill payment address change that occurred last June, and as a result, payments made in October, November, and December did not arrive at the new address location. The water to the property was disconnected for non-payment. The occupant called for water to be restored after hours and was charged the full amount of the work order service of $165.57. I did put the work order in the board packet as well. The account was not charged the requisite $40 reconnect fee. However, the history ledger showed that the work order charge of $165.57 was charged twice to the account in error. And let me just stop here and say, since this was discovered, they have reversed one of those, the erroneous work order charge. So what I'm going to propose is that we waive the penalty on this account, which totals $19.77, and not bill the account the $40 reconnect fee that was not applied to the account when the service took place. And they have already been reimbursed the charge that was placed on their account in error. So that leaves the occupant with only the cost of the after-hours service, which they have already paid. Now, this is very similar to the gentleman who came in and made a comment. And here was my thought when I was looking at the Portwood Bend thing. The $40 reconnect fee and the penalty fee are not costs that are paid by the district. That's more revenue, not expenses out. But that work order charge, we did have to pay Infomark for. So that doesn't mean we can't waive it, but that means the district is going to pay that cost.
Your rate order states that if it's an after-hours reconnect, it's at cost, so the $40 does not apply. That happens during business hours. I have your rate order up. It specifies when it's moved, when the meter is moved, when the meter is not moved, 40/40, but if it is after hours, it is at cost. When the meter has been removed for disconnection or water has been turned off for disconnection.
I read it as $40. If they have to reconnect you day or night, that's the reconnect charge.
It specifies additional fee for after hours reconnect is at cost. So the $40, waiving that, you would only be waiving $40 of the $165, but the $165 is the accurate charge for that.
Yeah, that's the work order charge.
Correct.
That work order did not include a $40 reconnect.
Correct, it shouldn't have per your rate order.
Right, exactly. That would
But
have
you're
been a
saying
separate
there's-
charge.
No, per your rate order, it says that they would have been charged at cost. So the cost of the work order to reconnect.
Okay.
If it was after hours.
So this guy then that came in this evening with his case, he was charged at cost to not turn on because he had fixed it himself. So he just paid for someone to come out and then discover that there was no longer a problem
Correct,
at cost.
because the district still had an additional cost for the initial call to come out, and there was no additional call made stating that the problem had been mitigated. Even then, though, you would have been charged for the drive tech, because the tech was still notified after hours to leave his home to come out here.
Yeah. So, it makes it hard to address appeals when the amount is different for each trip, and what you do to one, you do to all, or it's a dysfunctional government. So I will listen to Hanoi and Kelly and David on what you would like to do with Portwood Bend, which is on the agenda, and then that same, however you want to look and handle that, needs to be addressed for anybody who appeals to the board. And I will state again, this is cost that the district has to pay. So when you waive it from the resident, then everybody else in the district gets to pay for it. So how to handle it. Hanoi, you have the floor.
I don't know if somebody else has stood anything about
So the
it.
reconnection fee for the Portwood Bend, am I hearing correctly, it was, when did they reconnect it?
After hours.
After hours.
Yeah, they did come after hours.
So what I heard you say was it's 165, but that 40 really, what I'm hearing, it didn't cost us anything.
40 only applies if it happens during business hours.
There's no 40.
So there's no 40.
40
There's
does
no
not
40.
apply if
Okay.
it's after
It was
hours.
never-
The rate order specifies it is at cost.
So then we don't have to waive 40 because the 40
Right.
is not charged.
Right.
It costs the district money, and I don't think it's fair for everybody else to pay. If they got sent out, and it's a cost that, even though somebody, I just feel like it's gonna have to.
Kelly, your thoughts?
So I'm only going to address the Portwood Bend one. I'm recusing myself from the discussion on my tenant because I think that's probably the right thing to do. But I feel like if this resident got caught up in something, he's got a regular payment record prior to that. I would say any resident who comes to us in good faith and says, look, this mistake happened, I'm sorry, I didn't know, or, this isn't the way I am, and I will, make sure not to let it happen again. I would say if we forgive half of it, that is a good faith effort on the part of the board toward the resident. And so that's what I'm inclined to, we're talking about half of the 165.57. That's what I would do.
Again, I mean, I'm siding more on what David was mentioning is, then it would have to be the district burden. I don't know.
It's a tough one. And they're not the only ones. I mean, the elementary schools didn't get the notice about the address change for the water billing, and they fell behind, and they were given a red tag and told their water was going to be cut off, and that switch over, that was not so clean. And we looked at, or tried to look at, accounts that had gotten that behind to see if it was in fact a result of payments going nowhere because the address had changed. Do you have any idea how many more are like that out there?
I don't, they're few and far between, but everyone was notified.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that the tag alone will be like, okay, something's up, let me pay this, let me stay so it doesn't get shut off, and then I will follow up on what happened or how to correct it moving forward. But they did receive that notice that, hey, there's an issue, please remedy this amount that needs to be paid, and then they can figure out. So that's, to me, it was another step to prevent them from getting it disconnected, which.
If I'm not mistaken, this person on Portwood Bend travels out of the country and was gone for several months, and when they came home, had no water, and that's when they called for the reconnect. So I just remember the email
I think that's what happened.
vaguely, something along those lines. So that just tells me we need to communicate better And we need to pay, when things switch, we need to pay closer attention to see, you know, if people who have been faithfully paying, all of a sudden their payments are not showing up. It would be an indicator to go see if they're on the auto pay and their bank hasn't been notified that the address changed. I mean, I understand how it happens. What I can't get my hands around is how big is this problem? Because we changed addresses in June.
I don't think that it's a very big problem. I think it's few and far between, but if you look at the history ledger for that one in the packet, you'll notice that they often do not pay the full amount of their bill on a regular basis. They almost always carry a balance forward. They're paying, but they carry a balance forward quite frequently.
The
Portwood.
Portwood did.
If you look up at the top, they have roughly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 out of the last 20 months, they carried a balance forward. Some of them is a pretty substantial balance, so.
I mean, to me, they're notified, so we have record of notification. There's no, I mean, to me, very clear cut. And we shouldn't carry that burden on the district.
You want to make a motion for me? This was an appeal request for Portwood Bend Cove. Now we need a motion to resolve it.
Let's go ahead and make it.
Yeah.
Well, if you make a resolution, it'd be to.
A motion.
A motion to waive it, right?
Or not.
If we don't make a motion, just, you're gonna have to pay.
So you don't want, okay, so we can document it with a motion, or we can just say we're not going to accept the appeal and they pay.
So I move that we do not accept the appeal and have the resident pay.
Second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? That's 3. Kelly, are you a no?
I'm a no.
Linda, did you second that?
David did.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, moving on.
And does that go for both appeals?
No, he's not on the agenda. The other appeal's not on the agenda, so we're not going to do that one. We're on 4A, old business, the fire protection agreement with the city of Cedar Park. I believe we covered this already. We just need to sign the paper.
Yeah, you all discussed it last month, but we deferred it, because I think some directors hadn't had an opportunity to look at it. But we have the copy again with you all with the updated resolution. So we just need a motion to approve the fire protection agreement.
I move we approve the fire protection agreement.
Okay, I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor? That's 4.
Thank you.
And is that in the folder?
Yes,
The
it is.
agreement?
Yes, it is.
All right, we're at agenda item number 5, and that is to convene an executive session pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, to discuss matters only relating to interviews if necessary. I do find that it is necessary, so I am going to call this board into a special session, and I will invite all of you to leave. Jacob, you're welcome to stay.
Time is 7:39.
Time is 7:39. Yeah. We are coming back out of executive session. The time is 8:46. The board has discussed our options going forward in the best interest of this district and what we believe that we need as far as an operator, as far as support for the district. Both companies, hands down, can do the job of this district. There's no question about that. But we have made a decision to terminate our contract with Infomark and go with MOC. So I am going to make a motion that the attorney send termination notice to Infomark and approve MOC as the new district operator. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Kelly?
Yeah, I want to thank Infomark for all their years of service, and Mackenzie, of course. What it comes down to for me is the personal accountability and the relationship the board would be able to have directly with the owners, and being able to have the district looked at with fresh eyes and a fresh perspective.
Yeah, likewise, I would like to thank Mackenzie and Infomark for the work they've done and the dedication to the district. I do believe that at a point in time and with the transitions that we're making, I think MOC would be the right fit for the transition.
I got that.
Nothing. All in favor? It's 4 yeses. The motion passes. Agenda item 7, other matters that may come before the board. Does anybody have anything? No? All right. Our next meeting date is April 17th, I believe.
Yes.
And with that, I'm
Oh.
going,
Sorry, if we Cole, you can put on the agenda your rental property,
oh, that appeal?
that appeal on there.
Pepper grass?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the only thing that. And other than that, that's it.
Then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.